The dancers at Oregon Ballet Theatre are rehearsing in a studio on Portland's South Waterfront.
If you did it like that in the show, I'd be like, well done. But I think we can make it even better. Yeah. Maybe it's starting the développé fraction sooner. Yeah, I think that's all it needs. Yeah.
That's the voice of Dani Rowe.
My name is Dani Rowe, and I am the artistic director of Oregon Ballet Theatre, and I'm a choreographer and a mum.
She started the job last March, and she's the first permanent female artistic director in the organization's 35-year history. As you might be able to tell, she's originally from Australia. She started dancing professionally there, and her career took her to Houston and the Netherlands before she landed in Oregon. And she says she's often inspired by her daughters.
What is happening?
I look like a monster.
You do look a little bit like a monster.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm Jen Chavez, and this is The Evergreen, a podcast about the place you call home. Art Beat producer Geneva Chin spent a lot of time getting to know Dani Rowe. Geneva, what surprised you the most about her?
Well, I was surprised when she told me that she gets a lot of inspiration from her two small children. When we interviewed her, the kids were 3 and 7 years old. They were adorable. Seeing her interact with them, I was really struck by the way she seemed to integrate her love of dance and her creativity into both her work life and her home life.
Kids are messy.
Don't bite me, please don't, please.
They get lost in worlds, and they're not aware of time, and they're not censoring themselves.
Can I fart in this?
Aggie. And I think we do as we get older, and we should, definitely in some situations. But I do believe there's also times where we should also, well, especially when you're trying to create something or exploring something new, that it's almost required that you be messy and fail and make mistakes. And then through that mess, you can find these little nuggets, and then you can build something fresh and new. But you can't do that without letting yourself go and fall into the mess and fall into a world. And my daughters helped to remind me of that, the importance of play.
So, Geneva, what was so striking to you about that?
Well, here she is, this internationally acclaimed dancer, and she essentially gave that all up to have a family. And that speaks to the sacrifices that women have to make. A lot of leaders don't bring up their families when they're talking about inspiration or about their motivations. It's almost like family is, something you bring up when you are leaving a job, like, oh, well, I'm leaving to spend more time with family.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So here is Dani Rowe embracing the fact that she's a mother and a professional, and she's great at both of them.
I retired from the stage for a couple of different reasons. I felt very content with the work that I had done and my time on stage, the people I had danced with and for, the type of repertoire I had the opportunity to perform. I also, at the time, was living away from my husband. So for the 3 years that I was dancing with NDT, he was simultaneously dancing with San Francisco Ballet. So we were jetting across the world to see each other, and that got somewhat exhausting. But most of all, I really wanted to start a family. And for me personally, I felt like I did not really see myself dancing and performing whilst also raising a family.
Yeah. And as I mentioned earlier, Dani Rowe is the first woman to hold the permanent job of artistic director at OBT.
That's right.
I am surprised that a ballet company would have mostly male artistic directors. Is that unusual?
Not at all. It's very common. Only 29% of ballet companies worldwide have women in the role of artistic director. Only 29%.
Oof.
That's crazy. But that's slowly changing. You know, when you think of ballet, you look into a ballet studio, you see the stage, it's full of women, right? Full of ballerinas. And a few men. Yet why do men dominate the higher ranks? Danny Rowe thinks that the discrepancy has been kind of baked in to the culture of the ballet world.
This is my theory anyway. My own personal theory is that generally when you go and see little kids in a ballet class, you'll see a sea of female identifying kids, and then you'll see one or two boys. And so often, at least when I was growing up, a boy would enter the studio and it would be like, oh my gosh, we have a boy. Let's all celebrate the boy. And thank goodness you're here. Which is, I understand, because it was so rare. But I think when you're a 4-year-old, subconsciously, it's ingrained in you that when a boy enters or a man enters into the studio, you are to applaud them and create space for them and immediately respect them without question. And so I think that just kind of filters through to the top. You're kind of taught or programmed to think that they deserve to be at the front of the room.
That is so interesting to hear her reflect on that. And, you know, clearly hearing this, people like Danny Rowe are chipping away at the patriarchy within the dance world. How significant is it to have someone with her background come in as the artistic director at OBT?
You know, it's a big deal because Danny Rowe had danced for years for Australian Ballet and Houston Ballet, and then she joined Netherlands Dance Theatre. Now, I'm kind of a dance geek, and I was impressed that she had danced with NDT. Netherlands Dance is a big deal. It's often considered to be the best contemporary dance company in the world.
The transition from the classical world, the traditional ballet world, into the contemporary world was massive. As ballet dancers, we are so hyper aware of line and exactly where every fingernail is positioned and every eyelash is positioned. And we utilize the mirror a lot. And so it's almost like you're taking yourself out of your body and then examining yourself from outside yourself. I felt like I almost had to strip away everything that I had been training for and start all over again. But in the end, it was the most liberating experience to kind of, almost like a snake shedding its skin and starting all over.
Wow. And given her background at this incredible contemporary dance company, like you mentioned, do you think she brings in elements of modern dance when she's now working with ballet dancers?
Yes, she sometimes brings in modern dance when she's choreographing for ballet companies. As for programming the OBT seasons, she says she'll continue the company's tradition of presenting both modern pieces and timeless classics like Nutcracker, Cinderella, and Swan Lake. Now, I get it. Those traditional ballets are popular, and frankly, they sell tickets.
Right.
But Danny Rowe says she also wants to create or commission dance that will tell new stories that are relevant to us today.
I love that idea of telling stories through dance. And I know you spoke to a couple of the dancers who are part of the ballet company at OBT. What did they have to say about working with her?
Yes, we spoke with dancers John Paul Simons and Carly Wheaton while they were rehearsing for Swan Lake, and they had wonderful things to say about working with Danny Rowe.
She's really helped me focus and pay attention to intention when telling the story and to actually believe what we're saying, you know, whether it's a port de bras toward the prince or, a feeling of fear, feeling frightened as the swan. She really brings that like real feeling out of you, that you believe it in the moment, that you are actually scared.
Yeah, she has a lot of emotional intelligence. She
very much.
is very good at coaching.
Yes.
Those parts of the ballet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of not being afraid to dive into the artistry of it. She creates space for that, and that way it gets the best product out of you. When there is space to feel safe to explore the story.
That's so interesting to hear from them. Do you get a sense that this is like a big shift for the internal culture at OBT?
Well, that's a bit of a delicate subject because, of course, no one wants to throw the former permanent artistic director under the bus.
Right.
But I did hear from several people, including OBT board member Catherine Levy, that they've seen positive changes under Danny Rowe's leadership.
The character of a place comes from the leadership at the top, I have learned over the years. And if the leadership at the top is open, accessible, constructive, creative, and that's what we have now with Danny and with Shane Jewell, it changes the climate. And the climate of ballet needed changing. I think everybody who's involved with Oregon Ballet Theatre is very optimistic. The wheels of change are slow in most ways, but I'm expecting OBT's trajectory to change enormously in the next few years.
Shane Jewell is OBT's executive director. I asked Catherine Levy what stood out to her about Danny Rowe in their lengthy search for a new artistic director. She said it was her character and the way she moves through the world.
Beyond having a huge experience in contemporary as well as classical ballet, she's such a delightful human being. And she's so open. And there was a clarity about her. I felt that when I was talking to her, I was talking directly to a person who I could understand. Not a veneer, not a professional mode, but an open person.
Well, thank you so much for introducing us to Danny Rowe.
You are most welcome.
And Geneva, you've described yourself as a dance geek. What do you love so much about dance?
I have danced for decades, and it transforms me, it transports me. I don't know, it's just a light that comes into the studio, the music, and it's just a great place to really center yourself.
That's lovely. Given your passion for this and given the fact that you are a dancer yourself, what did it feel like for you to be able to dive into this story about dance and even be able to film dancers at work in the studio?
It was fabulous. I had so much fun doing this, seriously.
I love to hear that. Well, Geneva, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you so much.
You can see a video, read Geneva's story about Danny Rowe, and find out more about her plans for Oregon Ballet Theatre at our website, opb.org. Thank you for listening to The Evergreen, podcast from OPB. If you're here listening right now, you are a part of our brand new podcast family. Please help us grow by leaving a review on your favorite podcast app. Follow us there, and hey, tell your friends. Julie Sabatier produced this episode, and our technical director is Stephen Cray. Nalene Silva engineered this episode. The OPB podcast team also includes Mia Estrada and Sage Van Wing. Geneva Chin, Lisa Callum, Stephanie Gordon, Todd Sonfleeth, and Zach Carver-Gustin did the interviews you heard. The music in this episode is from Audio Network. Thank you so much to everyone who has reached out to us with comments, questions, and suggestions. If you want to get in touch, please just email us. Our address is theevergreen@opb.org. I'm Jen Chavez. Until next week, take care.